I don't remember, I don't remember, I don't know, I don't remember, I don't remember. I could have just filled the rest of this book with I don't remember. She basically called them lesbians. And there was something called a K-hole. Have you ever been stuck in a K-hole? Explain to the jury what Cocoa Puffs are. All right, guys, coming to you live, Diddy trial day 16 here downtown. This is where the I don't remembers come in. To give you the defense's strategy, basically, in the middle of this cross, it started off kind of slow, but in the middle of the cross, their strategy was basically to show all the inconsistencies and the patterns of all of the people who have come to testify. Okay. Usually the inconsistencies are when they met with the government, they said one thing, or when they filed their lawsuit to get money, they said one thing, and then on the stand, they're saying something else. And usually whatever's on the stand is a lot worse and has a lot more sauce on it and sounds a lot more embellished. Okay. But there are a lot of inconsistencies when they met with the government versus what they're saying on the stand. And when these consistencies are pointed out, the go-to thing for the prosecution's witnesses is, I don't remember. Okay. Obviously, they've been coached to say that, but it's really bad. So apparently, to me, the defense was trying to hint at a same-sex relationship between Cassie and Bryana. Now, Bryana has already talked about her girlfriend or her ex-girlfriend, so we know that she at least swings that way. I don't know if she swings both ways, but she swings to the same-sex way. So the defense was asking about the relationship with Cassie. How did you guys meet? Then once you guys met, how did you guys get close? They met at one job and then they went into another company. They started their own fashion line together. And then the defense started going into the story about how she went to Cassie's house, ate drugs, nothing. Then somehow she convinced Cassie to do a photo shoot in nothing but a t-shirt in the swimming pool. And then she stayed over at Cassie's house. She told the government interviews, she told the government, that's when we started getting comfortable together. So the way the defense attorney was saying it, she was like, so that's when you guys got comfortable together? Like, that's when you guys started feeling comfortable together, when she had nothing but a t-shirt on and you were on drugs and you did the photo shoot and you stayed over at her house? And she kind of said, like, what do you mean by comfortable? And the defense attorney said, what do you mean by comfortable? Because you're the one that said it. All right. It was Nicole Westmoreland that was actually doing it. She also talked about, you did agree that you have immunity. Do you know what immunity means? If you lie, you understand, and you could be in trouble and so on and so forth. You do no longer have immunity. And she says, yes. She said, who is it that determines whether you lie? And she goes, I guess the prosecution. This is why I don't know. So many I don't remembers, I don't knows, because she can't lie, right? So she can't say anything that's close to lie or that could come back as a lie later on. So it's going to be, I don't remember, I don't remember, I don't know, I don't remember, I don't remember. Okay. After she basically called them lesbians, she said, can I ask you about a few more drugs that you've done? So then there was a bunch of drugs, and then there was something called a K-hole. I guess this is like a specific high that you get from a particular drug. Nicole said, have you ever been stuck in a K-hole? She said, yes. And Nicole Westmoreland says, explain to the jury what Cocoa Puffs are. She goes, it's when you take a spliff, put marijuana in it, and then you sprinkle cocaine in it. She goes, did you give drugs? Yes. Did you do drugs with Cassie? Yes. Did you sell drugs to her? Do drugs with her? Give drugs to her for free? Yes, yes, and yes. There's a time that you got her over 100 pills on one occasion. Yes. Do you remember telling the government more about this story? I don't remember. And just to let you guys know, this was a really, really long cross, because every time she says, I don't remember, then Nicole Westmoreland has to say, well, let me refresh your memory, and then bring her her exact words which she said in the interviews with the government. And then when you do that, then the prosecution objects to the way she rephrases a question, and then they have to rephrase it 3, 4, 5 times just for her to say, I don't know again, or I don't remember again. It was really frustrating, but it started getting really funny. Everybody in the overflow room was laughing. People started leaving out of frustration, to be honest with you. I think they were thinking that this chick is killing prosecution case. But the jury, I have it written down right here. The jury is starting to see a pattern with these witnesses. Somebody said to me the other day, well, if everybody's coming on the stand and saying the same exact thing, and it must be true, right? Not necessarily, because all these people are all still friends. And they asked, when is the last time you spoke to Deontay? She said, today he texted me. She said, when's the last time you spoke to Cassie? She said, I texted her a photo of a bathtub that she should get for her, I guess, new apartment because she now has a home because remember, she lived with her parents, with their 2 kids and her husband before she filed a $20 million lawsuit. So now she wants a new bathtub, I guess. But my point is that she sent her that literally today or yesterday. So they said, do you still speak to Mia? Yes. Are you guys all best friends? All these people at some point call themselves either Cassie's best friend or close friend. They all still talk. So if they're all talking and she's talking to Cassie, even during the trial, during Cassie's testimony, after Cassie's testimony, I know they're not supposed to talk about the case, but just like people say, the jurors are still going to talk about the case when they go home. Who's going to stop them? If these people are all suing for money, they're also all trying to get their story straight and make sure it's the same. The witness, Mia, met with the prosecution 27 times and said the prosecution never told her to say anything. I don't know what you have to talk to the prosecution 27 times for, but she said she has to because she needs to, I quote, she met with them so many times to understand her story, which in my opinion, a lot of the jurors took that as get your story straight. They're all saying the same thing. Yes, you guys are right. But also, they're all friends. They're all suing except for Deontay. Mia said she's not planning to sue, but she got a lawyer and got the same lawyer that just won a really big sexual assault case. And that's the lawyer that she got. And then she talked about the rape after she got that lawyer. Before the lawyer, her meetings with prosecution, she never talked about the rape. Once she got that lawyer, then she started talking about the rape. Same pattern here. They're all saying the same thing. Half of them have immunity. And whenever it comes to them being confronted about the things that they would say before versus what they're saying now, it's, I don't remember. I don't know. I don't remember. It's so convenient. Nicole Westmoreland said, 2 days ago, you met with the prosecution, didn't you? She said, yes. She goes, 2 days ago, according to your notes here in your interview with the prosecution, you said, I actually don't really remember the dangling over the balcony incident. I don't really remember it. Isn't that true? She goes, I don't remember. At that point, the whole room was like, oh my gosh, you don't remember what you said 2 days ago to the prosecution in your interview. It really is getting crazy. And by the way, because I was thinking it too, before you think it, she's not on drugs anymore. She says she's clean. She says she's sober. She says she's clean. So this, I don't know if it's just straight up lies. I don't know if it's maybe the drugs messed up her brain or maybe she's still on drugs. But either way, it was getting crazy. So they said to her, well, here, let me lay out this timeline for you, sis. She goes, Cassie filed a lawsuit in November 2023, correct? She says, correct. She says, after Cassie's filed her lawsuit, you met with Cassie, correct? She says, correct. She says, before Cassie filed her lawsuit, you met with Cassie. She said, correct? She said, yes, correct. She said, November and December, you actually were working for Cassie. Same year, November and December 2023, you were working for Cassie. She said, that was correct. And she goes, and you were discussing lawsuits. Objection, of course not. But here's how they broke it down. You and Cassie discussed dates of when the balcony incident, she says, it could potentially take place, where the potential location could be, who potentially could be there, and whether Cassie potentially would see it or not. Isn't that true? She goes, true. So here's this. Cassie said it was at a hotel. She said it was at her apartment. Okay? This is literally what Cassie said and what she said. Cassie said that this girl's girlfriend, Bryana's girlfriend, was there to witness it. Bryana said, no, it was Tiffany was there. Like one or the other. It was two of them had two different accounts of who was there to witness it. Cassie said that she did see it, and then she said that Cassie didn't see it. Okay? They also said that whether or not, so who saw it, who was there, where it was, and the date. They had the dates different too. So the date was different, the location was different, who was there was different, who witnessed it was different. All these things were different, okay? Now, magically, when they get on the stand, everybody's saying the same thing. But when they were doing the interviews with the prosecution and filing their lawsuits, before they were understanding their story, okay? Before that, they had everything different. Now it's a collective thing, okay? So this is the stuff that they don't tell you on the mainstream media. They won't tell you all this stuff that's really going on, okay? All these were different. She even said, when you testify with the prosecution, you didn't testify that he threw the knife and then she threw it back. You testified that they have knife fights. That's what you said, fights. Okay? Man, if I keep going, everything was, I don't know. Everything I'm saying, the reason why I'm saying it as fact is because she says, isn't that true? And she says, I don't know. You're saying this now. You're saying that now. I don't know. But let me wrap it up with this because this is the craziest part. This is the craziest part. Cassie files lawsuit. November 2023. 24 hours, gets $20 million after she asked for $30 million. Okay. Then that same month, she starts working for Cassie. That same month, she and Cassie start talking about what really happened in the incident of the balcony. It was in Cassie's lawsuit. Remember, they've been friends and talking this entire time. Then January 2024, she meets with the prosecution, does not mention the balcony incident, hires a lawyer on January 31st, 2024, like 2 weeks later, hires a lawyer, files a lawsuit, or sends a demand letter, or files a lawsuit with the balcony incident in it. When she met with the prosecution, there was no balcony incident. Then has a lawyer, files a lawsuit, balcony incident is in it, and she wants $10 million. That's where we're at. And this is the pattern for many of the prosecution witnesses. So what, guys, this is the first time I've been reporting on this case in this way. I have so much more notes, but my back's hurting. And I will review this video. And if there's anything not factual in here, please let me know in the comments, and I'll either argue with you or I'll remove it. All right? Listen, I appreciate all you guys being here. We just started this channel. I think this is going to be maybe our third or fourth video on this channel. Like, share, subscribe, and share the video specifically, because more people need to be talking the truth out here. I'm not giving you the narrative. I might give you my 2 cents here and there, but I'm more or less keeping it real. I'm right down the middle. I'm not trying to go one way or the next. Okay? If the man is guilty and deserves to be in prison for any of these charges, then I want justice on that side. And if he's not, then I want justice on the other side. All right, guys. Peace.